Hello, listeners. This is 666.1, the Monster Mob, coming at you not quite live from the Boneyard.
If you're looking to talk about frights, we're your friends who go bump in the night.
It's midnight somewhere, and you know what that means? It's time for...
We
Hard!
Horror. Welcome, our spooky listeners. We Heart Horror. You know, the lovely radio station that goes bumping in the night, discussing all your lovely and favorite spooky topics. So, we are joined by the enchanting demon lady, who, frankly, is kind of smelly, but I think I'm biased because I live with her. We are joined by Demon Reviews. What's up?
I am not smelly. You're a pain in the ass. And hello, everybody.
Everyone has a different take, but you know what?
You don't have a nose,
correct. Anyway, we are also joined by the newcomer to the awesome radio station. We got Pixelishious, the e-girl from Down Under.
Down Under?
Yes, like hell. That was the implication.
Okay. I was
not
like, I'm not Australian, bro.
I don't know. You have a striking resemblance to a kangaroo, but maybe that's just me.
Pixel, don't take what he says to heart. He's just jealous because he's all bone structure, no muscle.
I'm all bone and undercaffeinated, so woo! And then we are also joined by Soda Pop Rocks Jones, the totally somehow alive slime guy. What's up?
Hey, everybody. Happy to be back.
Mm-hmm. And then
Soda Man.
and then it is me, is a bone man, the silly skeletal shit talker that somehow is still here and kicking. So, we are here and going to review the pretty awesome horror movie that came out recently called Barbarian. I'm honestly like a pretty big fan of it. We got
I thought
some
Barbarians
varying.
with an S.
No, it's just one. No,
Is
it's
it?
Barbarian,
It's just
I'm pretty
one.
sure.
Yeah.
I think the term is
That's
not.
just-
I think the term isn't referring to a barbarian, but more of the act being barbarian. Do you know what I
No,
mean?
you're right. You're right.
But
It does not have an S.
Did I not say
saw. Yes, you did say that, but also I saw somebody mix up the letters in Barbarian, and you can make out Airbnb with the letters from Barbarian.
That's really nerdy.
So that's
Clever
really,
girl.
it's really silly. It's really silly. But, and also, yeah, it's directed by Zach Kreger, which, dude, I can't believe one of the completely chaotic members of Whitest Kids You Know made this movie. That's kind of nutty. That's honestly really, really nutty. I was wondering what those lads were doing recently, too.
Well,
I was just like, man.
I could talk to you
what the
about
hell's
Whitest
the
Kids
vibe?
We Know, like what they've done since the show for a very long time. Because I tried to follow them. One of them actually was doing really well there for a little bit on a couple of different TV shows, but it never lasted more than a season. And Trevor Moore, actually, his singing picked up a little bit, but it was all joke rap, and people can only take so much of that. But another episode.
Yep, exactly. So, we're here to talk about Barbarian. A lot of horror spots are talking about it. Everyone is pretty fucking up on it. But I'm actually curious what the crew here thinks. So, let's start with Demon. What's up?
Liked it. You know, granted, I fell completely asleep the first time we watched it. To be fair, it was Halloween. We had a big night.
Wait, before we
Yeah.
continue, spoiler warning for those of you who haven't seen Barbarian.
Big spoilers.
Yeah, this is actually a
I-
pretty new movie.
Yeah, even
Yeah,
though
we're
I didn't
going
care
to,
for it, I
wait.
still want you to go see it before.
Still so shenanigans. Still so shenanigans. But anyway, we'll get to that. But first, we're going to give
Oh, yeah,
like
it's
kind
only
of
been out for, like, 2
spoiler.
months.
Yeah, we're gonna give like kind of spoiler-free reviews, and then we're just gonna generally talk about it with spoilers and all. So, be warned. Be warned. So, Demon. The second time you watched it, where you didn't fall asleep, what'd you think?
My official watch, I actually thought it was a pretty good movie. Definitely not how I thought it was going to be, just based off the trailers. And from what I do remember the trailers, they give you like a pretty minimal outlook on it. so not, so that you don't give too much away.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I know. And
I
that's
definitely put out like a solid like 8.5.
Yeah, that's one of the things I appreciate about it too, is just like the best way to enjoy this movie is going in not knowing anything and just kind of letting it take you for the ride. And I did that because I was like, I heard it's good. That's literally all I know about it. And I know like one or two actors are supposed to be in it, and that was pretty much it. And I just let it take me. And I was super stoked with the journey, just because it was very unexpected majority of the time, and just the constant like jumps as soon as a major event happened to like kind of contextualize what kind of went down previously. I loved everything it was laying down. I thought it was pretty great. I give it like a 9. Pixoli, what do you think?
I thought it was alright. I'd probably give it like a 7 out of 10 bones.
Pretty
like
good.
it definitely had a lot of twists and turns that I wasn't expecting, but they weren't bad. I don't know how much further I should elaborate here, but yeah, it had its weak points, it had its strong points, it had its fun points, as in like fun as like this one, as fun as horror gets, if you know what I mean. Yeah.
All right, and then Soda Pop, what are you thinking?
Sorry. I was enjoying a taco. Sorry, tacos are delicious. Okay, I didn't like it.
Okay.
My problems with it is it felt like 3 different movies all trying to cram into one to get it all to set up. And I understand why they did it, but the different camera things were very jarring and very noticeable. In the beginning of the movie, we get those really like good horror shots, clean movie, and then in the second arc, which comes 40 minutes in, we meet our third character.
Yeah.
It's very, very, very slow burn. And here's the thing, I liked the beginning as it turned over to Justin Long's part, and I felt bad for the guy because I was like, oh shit, this is a terrible event that happens in his life. But then, and again, spoilers, it turns out he's an asshole. And I was like, that's so fucking predictable.
Yeah, exactly.
Way to make... I don't care if he lives or dies now. I give 2 shits. Stop turning, when you have a small group of characters, into assholes. Because you stop caring about them and you want them to die. And you don't give a shit.
Okay, here's... All right, I know, but here's the... I know, wait 1 second. Okay, but like a score, generally, let's give it a score, and then we can talk more broadly about it. What do you think?
I'll give it... I give it 4 slime balls, out of 10.
All right. 4 silly little slime balls. All right. So now we're going to talk about this shit completely unrestricted, big crazy, and talk about all the gory details and such. So, Demon, what are you thinking?
Okay, for someone who is, I really like Justin Long. I'd probably put him in like my top 15 actors ever since Dodgeball.
Oh yeah, he's a funny ass dude.
Loved him in Dodgeball. I like that they made him the asshole. Yeah. I really enjoy that because I haven't really watched much of his like horror movies, so like I haven't seen Tusk.
Yeah, he's kind of just like a normal guy in there. Yeah,
I mean, like I just I watch most like his funnier stuff.
Yeah.
So to see him like be like an actual asshole, I thought it was nice. I liked it.
Plus, I thought
build up for Skarsgård.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, okay, so here's one of the things and why I really enjoyed it, especially his character. I was loving everything he was rolling down, like just freaking singing away like there wasn't a care in the world, and then having that immediate shock that to like, oh, his career is probably fucked because he allegedly fucked around with an actress, and then he was just like trying to clean everything up. Of course, had to deal with the raw emotion of that. But then you start to see him and how he just treats everyone else and like basically treats just shit in his environment and how he acts alone. And you're like, oh, he's kind of a dickhead. But I was enjoying him because it's Justin Long, so I thought he was just being like, oh yeah, no, it probably isn't as bad as it seems. He's probably just like a well-meaning Hollywood dickhead. You know what I mean? Because I know a lot of guys who are kind of awkward like that. If they were in a position like that, then yeah. But anyway,
for me, this movie puts him in the same boat I put him in with like Bo Burnham. I know you didn't watch it with me, but it's like Promising Young Woman. Makes you look at Bo Burnham a different way, and I think this is a movie that makes you kind of look at Justin Long in a different way. Like, I didn't know he could play that kind of person.
Yeah, and then when the more you see of how he handles certain situations, the more you realize, oh no, he's completely gone. But anyway, we're kind of skirting past like a lot of really important details. So, like the beginning of the movie, I do agree is probably the strongest aspect, just for the sheer feeling of anxiety that you have for Tess the like entire beginning, because you're just like, yeah, what's gonna happen? Is Skarsgård gonna be like the main antag of this movie, or like?
Well, and I think that's what Pixel. That was the part she liked the best, in my opinion, from what I could tell. I don't know, Pixel. What were your thoughts on that?
On just like
the beginning, right before we see Justin Long, everything that leads up right before there.
Yeah, because
I love Bill Skarsgård. Like I love him as the lights, if you will, in the movie.
Funny clown man.
Yeah. And he like does that like weird eye thing naturally. He can actually do that.
I know, right? So, I was telling Issa about that.
Unfortunately, doesn't do it in this movie.
And so because of like the way that I've known him like in other like film, how he kind of sometimes plays like a bad guy and stuff, I was almost waiting for it, and I was like, but I like him, and please don't do this to me where I put my trust into someone and then they just break in, they're the asshole, you know. But then like it turns out he genuinely was like a good guy.
Yeah. And
that was just like a twist I wasn't expecting, especially because right when that whole debacle ended and it went right to Justin Long's bit, we paused the movie for a quick break, and we were just like, we're already 40 minutes in, and this is and it feels like it's just now getting started. Not that that was like a bad thing. I just think it was an interesting way to pace a movie. The whole pacing of the movie was an interesting take for a horror, but like it felt a little experimental and stuff. But
I kind of like how they did the two separate ways, like how they go about it, because it's like we had 3 different arcs for the storyline. Because normally, like, you know, when a character dies like that, it's either, you know, it's the very first thing you see in the movie, where it's like, oh yeah, something bad, or it's like one of the last things you see in the movie right before the final person does their thing. So it's like a nice like little end to its kind of deal.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the kind of slow burn aspect, because again, you're waiting for that pin to drop where it's like, is Skarsgård a creeper who actually uses his house for, you know, doing kind of weird shit to chicks, or like, is it going to be a serial killer story? Is it going to be like a monster kind of story, supernatural? Because I don't know, like we see when they go to bed, he's not the one who opens the door. Something else makes like a hissing noise and then opens the door, and then frickin' Skarsgård's just well, his name's Keith in the movie, and Keith is just sacked out on the couch and freaking out. So I'm like, okay, is it like he's possessed kind of thing, and like freaking out in a dream because, you know, he's fighting it or something? Like, there's so many, because of how low key everything in the movie is. It's just such a awesome, just kind of like anxious time, in my opinion. And then I would be disappointed if the payoff wasn't that good, but the payoff I felt was fucking fantastic. Although the more you chew on it, the more you could be like, it's kind of predictable, I guess, but I definitely didn't see it coming. So that's why I thoroughly enjoyed it. What about you guys?
I thought it.
What are you thinking about like that like kind of the payoff aspect?
So the beginning of the movie I really liked, and which is why it isn't a 1 out of like 10. It's the beginning of the movie was really, really interesting, because like you said, it subverts the expectation of oh man, this is Skarsgård. Okay, so they put somebody here who I already have in my mind as a villain because of it.
Yeah, they're kind of
and a couple
creepy.
other horror things that he's done, but that's neither here nor there.
But also generally he's just doing like well-meaning things, but because he's like kind of awkward and doesn't want to seem like a weirdo around, the woman thing.
Because he understands it is hard out there for women, and I completely agree with that. Yeah, I know for a fact. You show up and it's just some guy there. That's a very scary situation, and looking around that neighborhood only made it worse. I'm not saying the setting itself where the movie falls off is right after that for me, because you guys say, oh, it's Justin Long in a no, I don't give a fuck about those characters. And when you have a small kill count, because there's only this cast very small, it's a very, very small cast, and when you have a small cast who can be murdered, and I'm a person who prefers higher body counts, putting an asshole as one of the people, I don't care about any of these people, so I'm no longer invested in the story. Because when we get to Justin Long, we find out, hey, he's an actor in a show, and he just got things going, and he's singing, and he's happy. Unfortunately, before he can enjoy any of that,
he's a terrible person.
We find out he's accused of sexual assault. Now, we don't ever really find out if he did it, but we do see him do some bad actions. Now, here's what I'll say to that. If he did do it, they needed to make it clearer, because having bad actions in that sort of situation is a survival instinct. Sometimes your instinct is to run. Not every person needs to be a hero. I even told Pixel in that situation, run. It's not a thing about whether or not it's, you have a story here, and it's bad if people don't care about the characters. And if I don't care about the characters because I'm not invested in them in any way, shape, or form, and there's two, then you have me lost half the movie.
I know, but here's the thing. Like, I think that they hold the really reprehensible shit to just kind of confirm, he is a bad person later in the movie. Like, because
like him measuring the fucking square footage.
Yeah, like that shit was hilarious. I was fucking in stitches over that scene, rather than like Tess freaking out like you fucking should when you find a long ass dark creepy fucking sex dungeon tunnel under your where you're fucking staying. He's just like, bitch, I could get some extra footage off this shit. Like, I was like, it was so funny that he just saw the situation as like a fucking plus, because he's like, yeah, I'm not really worried about, like, it was just comedy gold, in my opinion. And I was just giving him the benefit of the doubt. That's just like, maybe he's just well-meaning, and
I don't think that's a bad thing. He clearly has been kind of tainted. Hold on. Now you've pictured this in a funny image. I see this as more going insane. Think about if you had been accused of that. I mean, that's a very scary thing to be accused of. And the reason I feel like we were lost closure in that is because I did want to know if he was a good or bad guy, because he even questions it during a part of the film. Am I a bad guy, or am I a good guy who made a bad mistake?
Well,
and
I think his actions kind of solidify that he's just an asshole doing asshole things. So he's a bad guy doing bad things, because all of his stuff, it's like, he throws her off the water tower, then gaslights her after he's shot her.
And then he was like, oh yeah, you slept.
Threw her off the building and gaslit her.
Yeah, like, I just love that bit for his character, because you want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but then he just keeps doing bad shit. And even then, he has that bit where he's just like, am I a good person who, like, just is well-meaning, does bad things, or am I a bad person? I like that bit because it's still like trying to give you the benefit, like wanting to give him the benefit of the doubt, where he's just like, yeah, he's kind of a dick, but again, I think he might just be incompetent. Like, especially with they're trying to play that up with every time he has a weapon in his hand, he fucking fumbles and drops the thing, because it's just like, so he might just be incompetent. But then near the end, it's like definitively drawing in the sand, he's probably just a bad person.
Then there's no point to the story. That's the problem. There's no point. And here's why there's no point. Oh, okay. Sorry. Go ahead, Pixel.
All right, no, you finish. Yeah, I was going to say. All right, so let's crack a Pixel.
Sorry, I didn't want to be rude and interrupt.
No, you're
we
supposed to be
interrupt,
talking
like
here.
the
It's part of the
thing.
podcast.
That's
you
that's
just
the
cut
podcast
it.
thing. Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
I don't like cutting in.
Well, that's how we do it. So you got to do it.
I gave Justin Long's character AJ every benefit of the doubt,
Mhm.
and then the part where he's like measuring the house and everything, I was still giving benefit of the doubt. I was like, okay, he's just desperate, trying to get as much money as he can for the house.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, and it was kind of done in a comedic way because he's passing by all this cage. He's like, huh, weird, and just kept going. So that was kind of funny, just that little comedic timing that I get.
some good
That's
dark
Justin
humor.
Long. Yeah, some good Justin Long vibe.
And it was funny. Like I was actually laughing pretty hard with Issa when it happened, but it's like, damn, he really is kind of a dick.
But
No,
it
but
was
just yeah. Sorry, Pixel, go.
Oh, it was just that because again trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. It's just like, did he really hurt that woman, that other actress, or is he innocent here?
Mhm.
And then what solidified it for me was when he was under that water tower with the girl. And he was sitting there saying, I have to fix this. Maybe I'm a bad person who does bad things. And when he kept saying that he messed up and he had to fix it, I'm just like, and then he tried drunk calling the actress he harmed, that he was apologizing. And then, of course, then next thing you know, we're getting that towards the end of the movie. And then throwing the girl off the water tower, then gaslighting her, saying, oh, you slipped and stuff like that. When that is what all added it up to me, that I'm like, that came off as a guilt, like an admission of guilt, I think the phrase would be. Because it sounds like he might have done, if he would gaslight her after he threw her off the water tower, then why wouldn't he gaslight that girl, the other girl, after harming her?
Exactly.
So that was it for me. But
that's why I liked. I feel like that because the body count was relatively low every time someone died, it was actually way more impactful. Like when Keith finally fucking ate it. Like, for one, I was suspicious about that man until the fucking end, where I could tell he was trying to do good, but also the dude was like, yo, let's keep going this way further into the tunnel because I got bit over there, because he probably got fucking lost. Like, he probably lost his sense of direction, was like, no, we need to go this way, that's where I got bit, and he was arguing until she fucking slammed his head. Like, that was so fucking shocking. And then it's like, cut, new character. What the fuck happened to Tess? What's going on? And I just love that jump to when things just escalate, and then it's like, okay, let's look at something else, and then build back up to that point, and then later where they do it showing the actual killer, or I guess the owner of the house, and how he did things back in the day. And I was just like, okay, it's starting to make way more sense. And I don't know, I just generally like that ride where
the movie missed the rule of threes for me. You subvert expectations twice.
Okay.
Once with Keith, once with the homeless guy. I think if they had done it with Justin Long too, where he was, maybe not fully innocent, but where he could have changed, especially after seeing those tapes, man. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I can't handle when movies show that kind of stuff. I cannot imagine what terribleness was on those tapes. Like, gut-wrenching. I'm so glad they didn't show a scene from that, because if they had, because you suggested the movie to me, I would have been angry at you. But no.
Yeah, I'm happy they didn't show any of that.
There are three
either.
things
I like
really
that
enjoyed
it didn't
about
get
this.
graphic.
No, I did
exactly.
too. I did too. Because
With anything, even the physical violence, the violence that was on those tapes, like, I like that they didn't get like physical, because horror doesn't always have to be about what you show. That sometimes it can be even scarier what you don't show. But I digress.
Yeah. No, there are certain aspects of the movie I did actually think were good, which is why, again, it's not at the bottom. The monster was killer, right? I think that monster design was amazing. The actual, moments that were building up a lot of tension in the beginning were really, really good. I didn't enjoy the ending as much, but the parts of the movie where, monster, the actual characters building. The main woman in the movie, she's fantastic, and I'll tell you what, she has some iron will. Because when Justin Long finds her and she's like, you just need to drink it. No way in hell I would have put that in my mouth. The fact that she did.
Oh yeah.
Bam! What a badass.
But yeah, no, it was.
Okay.
No, and
let's go around and do final thoughts.
Yeah.
We'll go around and do final thoughts. Who wants to go first?
I'll go as
okay.
I actually kind of really like how everyone has such a differing opinion of the movie. I think that's really cool. And that's what, in my opinion, good art should do. It's like you either kind of jive with it or you really don't. I really jived with most of what was going on. I really appreciated the cinematography and the direction, especially. Like, so many of the shots I thought were just fucking beautiful and expertly done. Especially big fan of a lot of like the horror shots too in the tunnels. That was really cool. And in general, I just liked the journey. I really dug it. The characters were, again, a good means of telling the story. Nothing super deep on them, but I dug them and what they did. And yeah, no, I thought the movie was great. Surprisingly sympathized with the monster near the end, which usually doesn't happen, but I generally really enjoyed the movie. So Demon?
I mean, as far as horror movies go, this felt more like a good like suspense horror. It's also like kind of like a subtle horror. Like, it didn't need gore or like super obscene violence to get its point across. It's like, this is just something that happened to someone. This disgusting bastard created this whole issue. Had he not been so sick in the fucking head, everyone would still be alive.
Yeah, and yeah, it's rough. It's rough. And then in Pixoli, what are you thinking?
Like I said, I thought it was all right. I feel like because the setup was so long, like 40 minutes long, it felt like the rest of the movie was kind of rushed and there were some parts left out of it. So I'd kind of like to see almost like a director's cut or an uncut version of it, because I feel like there was more to show. But it also could have been a choice of wanting to show, not tell, but they took it almost too vaguely and kind of, yeah, it kind of felt like the last bit was a little bit rushed, but the cinematography was good. The mystery of what was going on was good. Justin Long is always a good national treasure. I liked the whole cast. Like, it was all right. It was what I expected, which was fun. But at the same time, I feel like people are trying to recreate that Sixth Sense kind of twists and turns in their movies, and it's almost a really hard magic to recreate, but I appreciate what they were going for.
Hell yeah. And then Soda, closing thoughts.
Yeah, I'm thinking that when it comes to Justin Long horror movies, I'm gonna have to start passing on them. It's just this trend. He always has these endings that are very, for me, kind of cruel endings, and I've never been a big fan of that. Like the end of Wrong Turn 6, where that girl's blind and the hillbillies end up capturing her. I don't like those types of endings. And I mean, in Drag Me to Hell, he lost the girl. In Jeepers Creepers, he died so the monster could have his eyes. In Tusk, well, I won't tell you what happened in Tusk because I know.
Oh yeah, no, I recall what happened in Tusk. It was.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
It's always these rough endings, because I mean, the one character I started to like, and I wish we would have gotten more of, because I think her journey was probably the most interesting, was Tess. Of course, Tess was a badass. What she went through in those weeks before Justin Long showed up, oh my god, you brave fucking soul. And I think that's part of why I was annoyed with nobody wanting to believe her, because I was like, she's a grown ass adult. Yes, take me in, I'll go tell this to your sheriff. And then like I said, at the end of that, I would have sued the fuck out of the city for that.
Oh yeah. Nah, she's probably sitting pretty, especially being the only survivor at the end of that.
Yeah, like, and she went through so much. I felt so bad for her from the second she showed up. And you know what? Looking back on the movie now, that opening scene is so fucking adorable. with her and Keith. And Keith's like, I didn't open it because it's inappropriate. And I was like, damn, good boy, Keith, good boy, trying your best here, man.
Yeah, dude, it's really fun on rewatch, by the way, because you miss a good couple things. Like, especially going through that all and seeing Keith try his best to just like seem non-threatening and just be like, no, everything's chill, everything's cool here, but he's just like he's kind of a himbo.
Yeah.
So it's just a fun time. It's just a fun time.
He's trying to drink his respect women juice in the nicest way possible.
But here's the thing, viewers, listeners, people, go see it. I will say this, even if I didn't particularly care for it because it's not my type of horror movie, I still suggest that people should go see it. It's interesting. I don't like the camera jarring. You might think it sets up for a whole different story, and that's what makes it unique and special and well done. I didn't. But that's okay. I think Justin Long's character was very unlikable while trying to be likable, which was really annoying. But other people laughed and thought it was really good.
I know, shit worked on me. I gave him the benefit of the doubt until he shot Tess, and then I was just like, dude, what the?
Oh, okay. I did
fuck?
say I did say to Pixel, what did I tell you? Like right before Tess got shot.
He's totally gonna shoot.
Yeah, you did say that. You called it out, and I was like, no, he's right.
I was calling it all.
Are you somebody that nervous with a gun? I was like, the first thing that moves in there. And then when Tess went back down, I was like, oh, she's shot already. Damn.
Yep, exactly. I was like, don't you do it. Just trying to give him the fucking Justin Long benefit of the doubt. Then I hear, I'm like, you dumb motherfucker.
Well, and see, he didn't try and gaslight her there. He was just, it was an accident. I'm sorry. So when he gaslighted her at the end, that's why I was like, oh, why is it now, right here, when it's finally the crux, we're getting this push.
He was apologizing for his own benefit, because that's when he goes into the whole, maybe I'm not a bad person, I'm just a good person doing bad things.
I know, but here's the thing with characters like that is and just people in general. Anytime someone immediately is like, yep, I'm totally 100% aware of the shit I'm doing and that it's bad, and I don't know if I'm good or bad, but I'm going to try my best. And then he pushes her off the fucking water tub. And then at that point you're just like, no, you're bad. You're a bad guy. But anyway, there's a lot to chew on in this movie.
There's a lot to see in the movie. Yeah.
It's on
and there's
HBO
especially
Max, listeners.
It is, and that's especially why I recommended it to both Soda and Pixoli, because there's a lot to, regardless of whether you guys are going to like it or not, I knew there was a lot to chew on in this movie.
All right, we got to say goodbye, otherwise we're going to keep going for another 10 minutes.
Yep, we will. So,
farewell.
God damn it. So thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by the radio station, and
leave your visitor passes at the door.
666.1.
Don't eat yellow snow.
Thank you. Yes, I'm also drunk. Thank you for stopping by 666.1, and we will catch you on the flip. Have a spoopy rest of the night. What's up, Damon?
We forgot to do our comparison.
Oh, good night, everybody.